You think you can handle danger if you stay calm. But some places on Earth break calm first. They break trained drivers, scare rescue crews, and force scientists to admit that prediction has limits. A few of these places still carry workers, locals, or tourists through them every single day. Others are so hostile that going alone is less a bad idea than a slow decision to disappear. If you want to measure your nerve honestly, keep going. Skipper's Canyon Road, New Zealand. From a distance, Skipper's Canyon looks clean and bright, like a postcard cut from South Island light. Then the road appears, shaved into raw cliff, hanging above the shot-over river with almost no room to breathe. This is a 16.5-kilometer road, usually just 3 to 4 meters wide, built between 1883 and 1890 for the gold fields above the river. On one brutal section at Pincher's Bluff, workers hand-drilled and blasted a ledge 183 meters above the water while hanging on ropes. You feel the danger before the wheels even settle. Gravel shifts under the tires. The canyon wall presses close on one side, and on the other side, the drop opens so fast, your stomach notices before your eyes do. There are corners here with names like Devil's Elbow and Hell's Gate, which tells you how long people have understood what this place can do. People still go because history still lives here. Tour operators use the road, rafters use it. Hikers, mountain bikers, and locals still trust it more than they probably should. But if a driver misjudges a bend, there is no shoulder, no barrier, and no soft stop. There is only empty air, then river, then silence. And this road is gentle compared with what comes when the ground under your boots is barely wider than your foot. If you've ever driven a road where turning around felt harder than going forward, tell me where it was in the comments. Mount Huashan Plankwalk, China. Now trade tires for your own feet. Mount Huashan's Plankwalk is more than 100 meters long, only 0.3 meters wide at its most exposed point, and hangs at least 300 meters above the drop below. It was first built more than 700 years ago on the east side of the South Peak. The path is just wooden boards, iron chains, and cliff. The worst part is how small it feels. You do not walk it like a normal trail. You press your body toward the rock, slide one foot sideways, grip cold chain with both hands, and try not to think about the void directly under your heels. Even the return doubles the stress, because this is not a through route. You have to come back the same way. The human story makes it stranger. A Taoist priest first created this route as a path for spiritual practice. Today, visitors line up for a chance to test themselves, clipped to a safety line, while staff shut the route when lightning, snow, or hard wind move in. Some falls have happened when people failed to fasten or kept removing safety gear. When this place goes wrong, it goes wrong fast. A loose grip, a panicked step. One bad decision during crowd pressure, and the mountain takes over. You are not fighting a trail. You are negotiating with exposure itself. And if this feels impossible, the next road adds trucks, snow, and a mountain pass twisted like a metal spring. Be honest with yourself. Could you move across a 1-foot board with nothing under you but air? Put yes or no in the comments. What comes next turns a cliff walk into a traffic problem, and that makes it worse. Los Caracoles Pass, Chile. Los Caracoles does not hide what it is. Seen from above, it looks like a giant coil laid over the Andes. This short section of Chile's Route 60 climbs in more than 20 hairpin turns toward the Cristo Redentor Tunnel, which sits at 3,175 meters above sea level. It is one of the main crossings between Chile and Argentina, which means the road is not some forgotten thrill route. It carries real traffic, real cargo, and real pressure. At first, the paved surface sounds safer than dirt. Then, winter arrives. Snow packs both ends of the pass. Rockfall becomes a threat. Wind pushes through the switchbacks. Heavy trucks crawl upward in long convoys, while buses and smaller vehicles wait for space that barely exists. And on the Chilean side, there are stretches with no guardrails to forgive bad judgment. The road matters because nations use it. It links Santiago to Mendoza and keeps freight moving through one of South America's hardest mountain crossings. Drivers do it because work needs doing, because trade does not stop for weather, and because the mountain does not care how tired they are. If something fails here, the wreck is not just one vehicle. A missed shift point on a steep incline, an overcooked brake on descent, one skid on snow, and the whole line behind it is in danger. The pass has a stronger safety record than its look suggests, but that only proves how much discipline it demands. And the next route has far less pavement, far less order, and a death count that turned roadside crosses into part of the landscape. If you've driven mountain switchbacks before, I want to know the pass that tested you most. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. For years, an estimated 200 to 300 people died here every year. That happened on a road less than 50 miles long. North Yungas Road leaves La Paz, rises to nearly 5 kilometers above sea level, then dives toward the Yungas through a dirt track often barely 3 meters wide. In 1 year alone, the BBC reported that 25 vehicles went off the road and into the ravine. The sensory shock is brutal. Dust blinds you in the dry season. In the wet season, waterfalls spill across the route and turn the surface to slime. One side is rock wall. The other is a drop of more than half a mile in places, down toward the Coroico River. The road is so tight that even passing another vehicle feels like an argument with gravity. And people had to use it. Built in the 1930s by Paraguayan prisoners of war, it connected La Paz with the Yungas and Amazon-facing lowlands. Trucks, buses, traders, and families took it because there was no easy second option. Drivers poured beer to Pachamama for luck, chewed coca to stay awake, and kept moving. When disaster starts here, it rarely stops at a spin. A bus slides, a truck loses brakes, a driver takes one blind corner too wide, and the road ends in open space. There are no real emergency margins, and for years there were barely emergency services to speak of. Crosses line the route because memory had to do the work guardrails never did. But after roads like this, the planet starts changing categories. The next place is not a bad route. It is the Earth itself coming apart in heat and acid. Share this video with one person who still thinks dangerous road just means a few sharp turns. So far, the danger has had edges and lanes. Next, it spreads across an entire landscape. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. The ground here bubbles. That is not a figure of speech. The Danakil Depression sits where the Arabian, Somali, and Nubian plates are pulling apart, and NASA describes it as a place of blue burning lava, bright yellow hot springs, and lakes of bubbling mud. Parts of the region lie more than 100 meters below sea level. Lake Karam alone sits 116 meters below it. In nearby areas, annual temperatures can climb above 50 degrees Celsius. It looks unreal at first. Sulfur stains the land bright yellow. Salt crust crackles under your boots. Heat rises in waves that blur distance and make the air seem thick. Then the smell hits. Sulfur, minerals, hot earth. Your skin feels baked from above and reflected from below. But people live and work here. The Afar have survived in this region for at least 2,000 years, mining salt that was once used as currency in Ethiopia. Caravans still move through this furnace because value still comes out of it. Scientists come too because this is one of the clearest open windows into continental rifting anywhere on Earth. The stakes are not dramatic in the movie sense. They are worse because they are steady. Heat exposure, toxic gases, unstable crust, dehydration, and isolation work together here. A wrong step can put you into scalding mud or acid pools. A failed vehicle can leave you stranded in a place built to empty the human body fast. And as cruel as this desert is, the next place teaches an even nastier lesson. Beauty and tourism mean nothing when a volcano explodes without warning. If you had to endure 1 hour in either Yungas road traffic or Danakil heat, which would you choose? Tell me in the comments. Whakaari/White Island, New Zealand. On December 9th, 2019, there were 47 people on Whakaari when it exploded. 20 were killed, and the survivors suffered severe injuries. White Island sits 48 kilometers off New Zealand's North Island and is the exposed top of a submarine stratovolcano. A hydrothermal explosion there sent rocks, ash, and toxic gases across the crater and pushed an ash plume about 4 kilometers into the air. That is what makes this place horrifying. It can look quiet, right up to the moment it is not. Steam vents hiss. The crater floor looks barren and scarred, almost lunar. Tourists walk through sulfur smell and warm ground, hearing only wind and gas. Then the system flashes from pressure to violence. People went because the island was accessible, monitored, and famous. Tour operators brought visitors into an active crater because the volcano had become part adventure, part spectacle, part business. And that is the trap. A monitored volcano feels safer than it is. USGS notes that hydrothermal explosions are especially dangerous because they can be hard to forecast. Warning signs may be subtle, local, or too late. When this place fails, there is no long evacuation window. Superheated steam, ash, and rock fragments hit the same ground where people were standing seconds earlier. Burns come fast. Breathing becomes hard. Escape depends on boats and luck. And even this is still only one crater on one island. The next volcano can send liquid rock downhill faster than a person can run, straight toward a city. If you value places that show real danger without softening it, subscribe to Explore Danger. The next place does not just erupt, it chases people. Mount Nyiragongo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Nyiragongo's lava can move downhill at up to 60 kilometers an hour. That is fast enough to turn a volcano from a distant threat into a race you lose on foot. The mountain towers above Goma, and Smithsonian records show the 2002 eruption destroyed at least 13% of the city, forced the evacuation of at least 300,000 people, and left more than 40,000 homeless. About 100 people died directly or indirectly. This volcano is feared because it behaves wrong. Many lava flows crawl. Nyiragongo's lava is unusually fluid, which means flank fissures can open and rivers of fire can move with shocking speed. Its crater has held deep lava lakes for decades. In 1982, one lake was about 300 meters deep, holding an estimated 36 million cubic meters of molten rock. You can picture the scene too easily. Night over Goma, red sky, tremors underfoot, glass cracking in windows. Then a black city street suddenly cut by glowing lava, the heat pushing ahead of the flow before the rock even arrives. This is not remote wilderness. It is urban danger. People live here because they must. Goma is a real city, close to a real volcano, in a region where moving away is not simple. Scientists also watch Nyiragongo, because another fear sits nearby. Lava, or seismic unrest, could disturb Lake Kivu and release trapped gas. So when things go wrong here, the catastrophe is layered. Fire destroys homes. Ground splits. Roads fail. Panic blocks escape. And the next place proves that fire is not even required. A lake can kill an entire valley with air you cannot see. After hearing those numbers from Goma, a like feels less like approval and more like respect for the people who lived through it. Lake Nyos, Cameroon. In 1986, Lake Nyos killed nearly 1,800 people and 3,500 livestock, without flames, without lava, and without a sound most victims ever understood. NASA says a cloud of carbon dioxide burst from the lake and raced down the surrounding hills at more than 100 kilometers an hour. It suffocated villages in the dark. That is why this place stays in your head. It looks like a normal crater lake. Calm water, green slopes, quiet farmland. Even today, roughly 10,000 people live in the wider area because volcanic soil is rich and worth farming. From a distance, nothing about Nyos tells your body to run. But the danger sits below the surface. Carbon dioxide from magma about 80 kilometers underground seeps upward, dissolves into the deep lake water, and builds pressure over time. In 1986, that pressure released in what scientists call a limnic eruption, meaning the lake itself turned into a source of lethal gas. People reportedly lost consciousness where they stood. Engineers installed degassing pipes in 2001, then added more in 2011, and that has reduced the threat. Still, Lake Nyos remains one of the clearest warnings that Earth does not always kill with heat or impact. Sometimes, it kills by replacing the air. If you were alone there when the gas moved, there would be nothing to smell in time, nothing visible to judge distance, nothing to outrun. Just sudden weakness, then collapse. And if invisible danger disturbs you, the next place extends that idea across a whole landscape, where contamination lasts for decades instead of minutes. Which scares you more? Something you can see coming, or something you cannot see at all? Answer that in the comments. The next danger is also invisible, but this time humans made it. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. Chernobyl poisoned 150,000 square kilometers across Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine. The reactor explosion in 1986 killed 2 workers immediately. Then, 28 firefighters and emergency workers in the first 3 months from acute radiation sickness and related causes. Pripyat, a city of 49,360 people, was evacuated within 36 hours. In total, about 200,000 people were relocated. The exclusion zone around the plant stretches 30 kilometers. Walk it, and the sensory conflict is unnerving. Trees move in the wind. Buildings stand silent. Birds return. Wolves, boar, and moose live in areas people were forced to leave. It can look peaceful enough to trick you. That is what radiation does to the human mind. It leaves the scene looking almost normal. The human story here is massive. Liquidators built dams, waste sites, filtration systems, and the first shelter over Reactor 4 under brutal conditions. Families abandoned homes, schools, toys, photographs, routines. Whole communities were turned into memory by particles no one could see. And when Chernobyl goes wrong now, it is not with the speed of Nyos. It is slower, colder, and still dangerous. Cesium-137 and strontium-90 remain part of the risk. Fires can disturb contaminated ground. Damaged structures still threaten people who enter them. The IAEA says short visits can be managed, but this is still a place where exposure, collapse, or bad judgment stack quickly. If you go alone and something happens, you may not even know which danger reached you first. Yet the next island rejects outsiders in a more direct language. Arrows, law, and zero welcome. Most channels would treat a place like that as set dressing. If you want deeper ground like this, subscribe. North Sentinel Island, India. North Sentinel is surrounded by a 5-kilometer protected sea zone, and the rule is simple: stay out. The Indian government classifies the entire island and nearby waters as a tribal reserve. The Sentinelese, estimated at about 50 people in India's 2011 census, live there in intentional isolation. And history is clear about what happens when outsiders ignore that. A British officers' party removed islanders in the 1880s. The adults died after leaving. In 1974, a National Geographic team was attacked with arrows. In 2004, after the tsunami, islanders shot at a helicopter sent to check on them. In 2006, 2 fishermen drifted ashore while asleep and were killed. In 2018, John Allen Chow, an American missionary, illegally reached the island and was killed, too. The danger is not just violent rejection. It is disease. Britannica notes that isolated groups like the Sentinelese may have little or no immunity to common illnesses, such as flu or measles. So the threat cuts both ways. A visitor risks attack, and the tribe risks annihilation from contact itself. That makes this place different from every mountain and road so far. The correct response here is not courage. It is restraint. The island has no port, no hotel, no rescue setup, and no invitation. If your boat fails, if you drift too close, if curiosity beats judgment, there is no reason to expect help. And still, the planet has colder ways to erase a person than arrows do. The next place can freeze skin in under a minute and punish every breath you take. Put one word in the comments for North Sentinel: respect, fear, or both. Oymyakon, Russia. Oymyakon reached minus 67.7 degrees Celsius, or minus 90 Fahrenheit, on February 6, 1933. Guinness recognizes it as the lowest temperature ever recorded. in a permanently inhabited place outside Antarctica. Even its average January temperature is about minus 46.4 Celsius. This is not weather you walk through. It is weather you negotiate for survival. Everything hardens here. Breath forms crystals. Metal burns skin. Engines freeze if they are shut down too long. Rubber stiffens. Doors seal. Eyelashes frost. The village is small, about 500 people by recent Guinness figures, but that almost makes it stranger. Humans did not just pass through this cold, they stayed. That is the human story that gives Oymyakon its weight. Families live here. Children go to school here. Food supply, transport, and daily life happen inside a system where mistakes are punished by the air itself. It is not a research station at the end of the world. It is a community. And catastrophe here does not need a blizzard. A stalled vehicle outside town can become a coffin. Bare skin can freeze in moments. A failed heater can shift from inconvenience to emergency before sunrise. When your body loses heat in this kind of cold, confusion comes before panic, and that is deadly. The most unsettling part is how normal the village still has to feel to the people inside it. They still wake up, work, eat, and move through a place that would terrify almost anyone else. But if you think cold is the ultimate test, the next place shows what happens when heat does the same job. If you've ever felt cold that changed how you thought, tell me the temperature you still remember. What follows is not winter. It is a furnace with road signs. Death Valley, United States. Death Valley officially hit 134 degrees Fahrenheit at Furnace Creek on July 10, 1913. The ground temperature later reached 201 degrees Fahrenheit in 1972. In summer, air temperatures often top 120 degrees in the shade, and even nights can stay in the 90s. In 2024 alone, the park recorded its hottest meteorological summer on record, and rangers responded to multiple life-threatening heat incidents, including 2 fatalities where heat was a contributing factor. This place is dangerous because Americans think they understand desert. Then, Death Valley rewrites the scale. The light is clean, the roads are open, and the valley can look easy from a windshield. Step out too long and the heat climbs through your shoes, across your skin, and into your thinking. Sweat stops helping. Shade loses value. Distance starts lying to you. People still come because it is one of the most famous landscapes in the country. It is beautiful, historic, and huge. Visitors want the record heat, the dunes, the salt flats, the bragging rights. Rangers keep warning them to stay within a 10-minute walk of an air-conditioned vehicle for a reason. When things go bad here, help may still be hours away. A broken car, lost footwear, low water. Or one decision to take a short hike in extreme heat can turn into burns, organ stress, or collapse. In 2024, one man even needed rescue from sand dunes after losing flip-flops and suffering second-degree burns. And yet even Death Valley still gives you air, roads, and a chance to retreat. The next place strips the air first. Share this with someone who thinks extreme places are harmless, as long as they stay inside the U.S. Mount Everest, Death Zone, Nepal, and Tibet. Above 8,000 meters, Everest enters the death zone. Britannica puts it plainly. The amount of breathable oxygen there is 1/3 of what it is at sea level. The mountain itself stands 8,849 meters high,
and by 2017, more than 7,600 people had reached the summit, while nearly 300 had died trying. Winds above the peak can exceed 160 kilometers an hour. The scale is hard to hold in your head until you imagine the body inside it. Every step feels expensive. Your chest works harder for less. Frostbite waits on any exposed skin. Judgment slips, and on a mountain like this, bad judgment is often just another symptom of altitude. The summit ridge is not only steep and cold, it is a place where the human body starts failing while still moving. But people go because Everest is Everest. Sherpa teams fix ropes, carry loads, and make summit seasons possible. Climbers spend fortunes and years preparing for a few hours above the South Col. The mountain is a dream, a status symbol,
A calling. And for some, a job. When Everest turns against you, rescue becomes an argument with altitude, terrain, weather, and time. Bodies remain on the route because bringing them down can kill the living. A fall, traffic jam, empty oxygen bottle, or sudden storm can reduce an elite climber to minutes. And still, one place on this list makes Everest look almost generous. On Everest, at least the sky is still above you. Before the final place, subscribe if you want the next episode to go even deeper into the world's most impossible environments. The last place is so deep that Everest could sink into it and still not touch the surface. Mariana Trench, Pacific Ocean. The deepest known point on Earth is about 10,935 meters down. NOAA says Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench is so deep that if you dropped Mount Everest into it, the summit would still sit more than a mile underwater. There is no hiking version of this place, no casual visit. No human body belongs there unprotected for even a moment. The imagination struggles first. Total darkness. Water pressure so extreme it can crush failure into catastrophe instantly. Temperatures near freezing. A descent that takes you away from sunlight, weather, and every normal reference your senses use to stay calm. Even the machines that go there are specialized, rare, and fragile by comparison with the environment around them. Humans have studied only a tiny fraction of the deep ocean, which makes the trench feel less like a destination and more like a border. Scientists go because it holds answers about geology, biology, and the limits of life. It sits southwest of Guam in the Western Pacific, and even reaching the drop zone is a major operation. If anything fails down there, there is no improvising, no quick ascent, no stepping outside, no rescue boat arriving in time to matter. Pressure owns the timeline. Distance owns the rest. The trench is not simply dangerous because it is deep. It is dangerous because it removes every ordinary condition that makes survival possible. So if the question is where on earth you should never visit alone, this is the cleanest answer of all. Down here, alone is just another word for gone. After Skipper's Canyon, Lake Nyos, and the Everest Death Zone, which one would you face only if there was absolutely no other choice? Tell me in the comments. And subscribe if you want more honest answers from Explore Danger.